Welcome, friends. It's almost midnight, and you've found your way to the PikeCast. We've covered so many of the books of the most formative writer of our young adult days, Christopher Pike. But there's a new show in town. From the creator of The Haunting of Hill House and Midnight Mass comes the Netflix adaptation of The Midnight Club. For 10 weeks, we'll tackle one episode per podcast in a freewheeling and unbiased chat. So turn down the lights, pop some popcorn, and pull a blanket over you. And ready yourself for the PikeCast, the Midnight Club.
Greetings, fellow Pikers, and welcome to the PikeCast, the Midnight Club. I'm Cooper Beckett, and I'm thrilled to be joined by my lovely co-host.
Hello, I'm Cassie.
Hi, I'm Becca.
We've switched formats to cover Mike Flanagan's 10-episode adaptation of The Midnight Club. And this week we're delving into the penultimate episode, number 9, The Eternal Enemy. We're going to be going through... What?
I'm sorry, that was a really big word. I liked it. It got me... I was like...
Penultimate? You like
yes,
that?
Look at us. We're so fancy over here. Yes, Cooper, do it. Sorry.
It's okay. Well, last week's was the anti-penultimate.
Ooh, even bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's 4 extra letters.
Yes.
I know, totally. We're going to be going through the entire episode, but not beyond, so spoiler warning. If you're enjoying the PikeCast, please leave us a review on the podcast service of your choice. Okay, ladies, let's delve in to episode 9, The Eternal Enemy.
This episode has made an eternal enemy out of me.
This is very likely my least favorite episode of the series thus far.
I was the last one the one I yelled a lot?
It was.
I had strong feelings about that. So I think that was
the last
probably
one tied for your worst review
yes.
with 2.5.
Yeah.
So, but let's talk about why rather than just talking about it. So the show wants to delay the reveal of who's going home as long as fucking possible. So it gives us Stanton telling someone that this is a great day and they're going home, and it just keeps going with her talking to this unknown person. Who did you think it would be?
Okay. So I accidentally got spoiled on that part because I read the plot for the last episode for some stupid reason.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So I fucked up.
Wait.
Well, I thought it'd be Kevin.
You assumed it would be somebody that wasn't in the book?
Wait, what? I don't remember the book that well, to be honest.
Was Sandra the one who got...
Yeah, she's the healthy one, so she goes home.
I didn't remember that. No.
I thought you... I'm sorry. Okay, because I was like, wait, I what do you mean?
No, I deliberately didn't revisit the book because I didn't like the book. So.
Right.
No, so fair. I didn't revisit either, but the last time we read it, that was probably like my 5th time reading it in my life.
Okay.
So totally fair there. But okay. So Becca,
so it was
you
Sandra in
sure?
the book. Okay. I wasn't sure. I thought it was Kevin.
Yeah, I don't remember the book that well. My memory is like absolute shite. So, so I just go with that.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it is. It makes for a really good times when you want to rewatch a movie because you can be like, I love this movie so much and still not remember it.
Oh yes, that's like if you go to the movie theater when you're really drunk or something, and then you see it again when it comes out on video or Blu-ray, and you're just like, I never saw this. I'm so excited, and you watch it, you're like, wait a minute, did I see this? And you have this like vague, but everything's still new. Yeah, I love that.
I bet you actually have the same thing with books that I do with movies. I watch so many movies now that I really can't remember if I've seen something. And so it's like, oh, that sounds good. Wait a minute, I already reviewed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am very
that.
thankful for Letterboxd and Goodreads, to be honest.
Yes, I was going to say I track everything. So I try to like put my notes down after to help me read it, but especially in like a series. For example, I'm reading the Anita Blake series with the vampire sex and stuff. And it's kind of like I know what happens, but I'm like, oh wait, did she fuck him in this book? Or was there a were-leopard over here? Or was the Rat King doing this at this time? Like you don't know which book is which, or at least I don't. So I get confused, but yeah. But I mean, as long as you have the gist, I think that's the important part.
I don't know the series, but I'm very curious about the Rat King.
Oh my God, Becca, yes.
What is that called?
Look, it's called Anita Blake series, and it's by Laurel K. Hamilton. She's been writing them since the 90s. So at the beginning, it has some like weird stuff. Like they talk a lot about Nikes and like how she always wears Nikes with different colored swooshes. And Cooper, you can leave all of this in here because if any of our listeners have read the Anita Blake books, please, you got to tell us in Discord or somewhere. You got to at me on Twitter. Like I need to converse. Like I got Christopher Pike and these vampire sex books. These are my two holy grails.
I'll definitely look it up after this.
Yes. So I read them when I was first like 16, but I've been revisiting them this year, and I'm on book 4 now. They're still releasing. She's been writing these books for like 25 years. It's wild. And they get super poly and smut in the middle because she herself, started living that lifestyle, doing those things in like BDSM and stuff. So the books have a lot of that in the middle, but in the beginning they're more like crime and like blood and gore and like fighting and shooting and stuff. So. It's so, anyways, y'all need to look into it. If anybody else knows about this, please talk to me because it's, okay, we'll go back to the episode. I'm so sorry.
Well, I think frequent listeners will know that when we talk about other things this much at the beginning, it means something.
It does. It really does. It means we don't want to go. Yeah. We don't want to talk about the episode.
We want to talk about vampire sex and stuff.
Yes, vampire sex.
Well, I'm going to force us onto track.
Dang it. Side podcast. We're going to branch out.
Yeah. So Stanton so Sandra's conflicted and worried about how to tell everyone. And Stanton says that we're all dying, each and every one of us. But today you're not. It's like, well, okay, that's I get it. We're all she's not dying right now. We don't need to all be dying today. We can do that in the future. We can all be dying. Right now, she just needs to hear you're good. Just be good. Not we're all dying. Fuck.
Well, I agree with you there, but I do think when she's like, the girl's talking about like how conflicted she's feeling and stuff, and she's just like, I felt like that was a really relatable, because sometimes when something good happens to you and it also has like a little bit of a negative, like if you win something over one of your close friends, like it's like, oh, I'm really excited, but also I'm very sad and guilty, but also, and like she told her directly, like whatever you're feeling is correct, and like I thought that was just like a really important, like, I don't know, blanket statement for her, like dealing with what she was dealing with.
Absolutely. But I did notice this episode has a lot of platitude bullshit.
Yeah.
Like we're all dying, or like the eternal enemy is fear.
Oh, please, God.
But let's crack on here. Did you notice the title was weird this time? It kind of had a hazy, like, fading in and out.
Yeah.
I don't know that it means anything. Too. I just noticed it.
Like, I don't think that color combination is one I've even seen on one of the books.
They've done a few color combinations that it's just like, well, did you forget about how garish this was supposed to be? Like the weird black and white one is like, okay, like why?
I love the black and white episode.
Okay, fine. Wait, was that the title card on the black and white episode?
Yeah, I thought it was, but I'm not sure now.
Okay, maybe. But it doesn't look like a Christopher Pike title. Black and white.
I agree with that, because the font alone isn't it's got to be the font and the really bright, like, my eyes, like, yeah.
Yeah, if it's not the color of Hubba Bubba dual color bubblegum in the 80s, it's not right.
I'm going to take your word for it on that. I just know I like pink.
Okay. That's so in the sub-basement, Kevin's got a scary little dream of something coming, the old man. And he wakes up in Ilonka's room. So she brought him there after sleepwalking down to the basement, right?
How silly is that? I had to pause the episode and laugh because I'm like, how the hell did she do that?
I know. How did she get him up there?
Did she lead him while he was sleepwalking?
Oh. It felt like she literally lugged him on her back.
I don't know if you can do that with a sleepwalker.
Listen, this is what happens. Okay, picture this. Ilonka gets down on all hands, knees and hands and hang on, I'm having trouble saying this. She gets down on all fours, hands and knees, okay?
There we go.
Like he's draped over her back like she's a horse. And then she starts riding into the night, like on her hands and knees, just crawling. And then somebody opens the door of Stanton and she's like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
It's like, see, this is why I locked you out of the library.
She's like, no, these are shenanigans that I did not expect from sick children. You need to go back to bed.
Stanton has had enough of their shit, especially Ilonka.
She really has.
Yeah, honestly.
I'm acting as if what Cassie said was a true story.
It's canon now. They don't explain how she gets there, so that's what happens.
We're filling in the gaps. You know, it's like fan fiction. We just want more, so we're making it.
You're lucky because I almost made her crab walk with him on her belly. Yeah, but I went with the horse.
Well, I mean that's a frightening.
It's creepier, right? It works.
So Kevin still suggests it has something to do with his meds. Ilonka says our meds don't make the halls look different. Great, but I mean they could. That's what hallucination is.
Yeah.
So you know, if you're suddenly hallucinating from your meds and the halls look different, that would be correct. So Kevin has seen the past version of the hospice, but his focus is the old man rather than the old woman that Ilonka is seeing. So Ilonka calls an emergency. Jesus, I'm just sighing before every beat here.
That's just because you don't like Ilonka. Every time you start with Ilonka, you're like, oh, this bitch again.
I don't. She calls an emergency meeting of the Midnight Club and catches Natsuki with Amesh naked in bed.
Yes, that was a good scene.
This is the best part of the whole episode, that these kids got to have sex.
That's what I was trying not to say last time. You were like, I hope that they, and I was like,
I am so happy. And I'm also very disappointed because Christopher Pike is all about the lurid teenage sex, and we just get lurid teenage aftermath.
Well, come on, they're very sick and dying. I don't want lurid death teen sex. I don't want teen sex anyway. I'm just saying.
I mean, they could at least make out.
Was okay with me.
Right? Like,
yeah,
that'd be nice.
No, I thought it was cuter the way they did it. Like, I thought it was very sweet. Like, it's a very she's so private and like what she's dealing with, and so for her to like let him in, like that would be something that would be like very much between them. And he's just like, oh shit, dude, like look where I am right now. Oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. Like that's how I imagined it happening. Like him being like super excited, just like I can't believe this is happening, and her just being like, all right, like okay, we're gonna do this, and I want to do this, but like I'm nervous. Like I don't know, close the door, like be quiet.
That's fair. At the emergency meeting, they say, okay, here's the secret. Everybody here is seeing things like the old hospital and these old people, and everyone else is just like, no, we're not.
I liked that. Yeah, they're all just like, no. And then the two were just like, wait, what? No?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I love that Ilonka's default setting is that she's right about everything.
I hate her, and no offense to, it's not the actress. The way that this was portrayed and just the character, I could not stand this whole scene. Like,
she was awful in this.
She was
in
awful.
This scene and the one afterwards.
Yeah, it's just, ugh.
So they bring up Folie à deux, which is probably not pronounced correctly because I don't speak French, but it's the idea of the same delusion shared, and it's the subtitle of the next Joker movie.
With who?
With Jared Leto and Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn.
Isn't it Joaquin Phoenix?
What?
Oh,
Joaquin
Phoenix.
Is she Harley Quinn?
Yeah. She's Harley Quinn.
Oh my god.
Well, I mean, she's at least Harleen Quinzel.
Wait, but who was the other one that I like? The
Margot Robbie.
Yes.
Margot Robbie.
I love her.
Oh yeah, she's still Harley, just in the other side.
Oh,
of the
these
DC
are the separate
universe.
serious Joker movies.
Yeah,
where he's like walking down the stairs. I haven't seen that movie, but I've seen the poster where he's on stairs.
It's pretty good. It's ruined by all the people who think he's the hero because he's not. It
looked like really
Taxi
serious.
Driver.
Oh yeah. See, I was expecting when I go into a movie that has to do with superheroes and like comic books, I want it to be fun.
Oh, no,
I don't want to like.
It is not fun. It is a drama.
That is not for me. No offense.
Character drama.
Yeah.
But the next one's going to be a musical.
Oh yes, that is for me.
Yeah,
that is definitely for me. That is 100% for me. Do I have to? Do you think I need to watch the first to watch the second thing?
I mean, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea because I don't know what the second one's. It's about how he becomes the Joker.
Oh my god, are they gonna have like a nice little bad romance song in there? Because they're gonna,
oh, that'd be great.
Mama, that. Okay, I'm sorry, I derailed us again this episode.
It's okay. So Amesh knows this term because there's an X-Files episode called What I Do.
I love Amesh.
I know this term because there's a bottle of wine called it.
I know this term because of this episode of the Midnight Club.
All right.
I've read it, but I've never like heard it out loud.
Is this not part of the book?
I don't think so.
Okay, it seems vaguely familiar.
No, remember there's no supernatural shit in the book, so there wouldn't be any shared delusions.
There's a lot of paintings and dreams and shit.
I thought it was one of the stories that they told.
Oh, maybe.
Oh.
I mean, I don't really know. Like I said, my memory is bad, guys. But it seems familiar.
Then we get the most on the nose. You know, my mother used to tell me a story from Natsuki talking about Toshi. Oh my God, my notes are terrible. Toshi Tubero Kito, the Eater of Years, who looked like an old woman and eats the missing years of people who die early. I mean, and okay, right now, I'm calling it Stanton is the Toshi Tubero Kito. As far as I'm concerned, she is the Eater of Years. That's why she's doing this.
Did either of you notice during that part? I know this is so minor and stupid, but I don't know, for some reason, every time I've seen this episode, it really takes me out. When she's talking about that, she goes, my mother, grandmother, whoever told me the story, and she's called the Eater of Years or the Year Eater. You just said the same. You just reversed the word. Oh, you didn't need to say that like that. You didn't have to give me two names for her that are basically the same name.
It was very overwrought the way she told this.
Yeah, I didn't like that scene. I didn't like the telling. I didn't like it.
No.
I wasn't a fan. I think the what she was talking about was interesting though. I was like, oh shit, yeah. But it was just the delivery. Mm-mm.
I would straight up read a whole book about this.
Same, yes.
Yeah. and I mean, and Cassie can't say anything. Becca, do you think this is actually what's happening?
Honestly, I didn't think about it.
Okay.
But now that you put it in my head, it makes sense.
Do you think it's Shasta or do you think it's Stanton?
I think Shasta has cancer again or something.
And she's trying to use the ritual to get rid of it?
Yeah, that's what I think, because she put herself in the center of it this time.
Right. Okay.
And then she's just trust me. Oh, you can.
No, I can't tell you what happened. I can tell you what I thought when I watched it, because I do remember.
Yeah, put yourself back in the mindset of naive episode 9 view.
Yes, I am enveloping past Cassie and to my bosom. I'm holding her tight. Okay,
oh, cute.
Let's see. It's like a little self cuddle. Yes. Okay, so I remember when she was talking about that, I was like, oh shit. So immediately I was like, okay, the old woman is this Eater of Years. There's a demon in the house. This demon's gonna fucking eat the kids.
Nice.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, immediately, I can't wait for this. There was no demons in the book. I'm so excited for this demon.
Damn, that would be a whole ass vibe. I would be here. I love demons. I mean, I don't love demons. Please don't haunt me.
No.
I love to watch.
Hold on. I love that Becca's real worry there is not that the audience will think she loves demons.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
But that the demons will think she loves demons and then haunt her.
That is specifically, it's hilarious. No, it's not hilarious, but it is funny because I think that is because, Becca, you are a little bit, more religious than Cooper and I, because that would not have been what's so funny is because I always have these talks with my boyfriend because he's not super religious, but he was raised by like religious people's grandmother and stuff. And so we often have this time where like I'll be like, okay, like we're leaving the house. I'm like, ghosts, if you want to read my books, it's okay. Just please put them back where you put them and don't take out any of my bookmarks. Like I'm so stupid, I know, but I do that. And then he'll be like, don't invite the ghosts into our house, Cassie. They cannot touch our stuff. And I'm like, if they want to read the books, it's okay. I'm not home and using them. He's like, no, you cannot invite ghosts into our house. Like, do not do that. It is not okay. And
That's so funny.
I know.
What?
So it is so funny, Becca, because you just reminded me. You were just immediately like, oh, Cassie, please no. That reminded me of it. Was like, wait, just to be safe, I don't want this.
Yeah, so like not only did I grow up in a religious household, I grew up in a household where my dad and mom are like obsessed with watching ghost shows. So I don't fuck around, bros. I don't fuck around. Although I do like ghosts. I would like to hang out with the ghosts, just not so much a demon. Okay, let's get that right.
No, that's
I read
fair.
a thing that said like ghosts are not supposed to talk to you. So if something that you think is a ghost talks to you, it's a demon.
Yeah, that's fucking
you should never
terrifying.
respond to it. I know, isn't that so scary? I read a lot of books and watch a lot of creepy things. I love it.
I love it too. As long as I don't get haunted, I love it.
Yes.
Let's get back to Ilonka being awful.
Oh, we don't love it.
Here's where she says that the ritual worked and someone is going home.
Yes, this is where
and you know what, guys? She thinks it's her.
Of course she does.
Yeah,
and no one believes it until Sandra speaks up and says, yeah, I'm going home. And Ilonka is totally gaslighting her with, I know you might think that. So
Sandra's face is so cute in the scene, though, when she's like, Ilonka says that, she's like, bitch, what? I don't know if that's what she was trying to say with her face, but that's what I got.
Yeah.
Ilonka here is going completely on faith that she's the one going home. And Sandra says the same thing. And Ilonka shuts her down for saying it, even though Sandra is the only one who's actually going home. It's infuriating.
Yeah. She's so gross about it too. She's like, if you really believe, it can be.
I know, right?
Oh my God.
And then it becomes, we have to do the ritual more. Hey, let's go do that ritual again. We can all go home because it worked, because I'm going home, because I'm a self-involved, egotistical nightmare.
Tell me how you really feel, Cooper.
Again, remember, she's like a 15 or 16-year-old girl, so it's
so
I do understand
hard.
that it's completely fair for her to be the way she is.
I know.
It's so hard to remember that though, because she is so fucking annoying.
Yeah,
but here's the thing: Christopher Pike characters may only be 16, 17, 18-year-olds, but they always act like adults. Because he's writing adults that are that age, really.
So I agree with you, but I think that sometimes that's to the detriment of the actual story, because sometimes we've even commented where we're like, this girl does not seem 16 or 17. Like, she's just waltzing in here and demanding stuff from the police force. And so I feel like here maybe they leaned a little bit too far the other way and tried to make them a little bit too juvenile and like just naive.
I mean, she's definitely acting like a 16-year-old I wouldn't want to have anything to do with.
Fair.
You're
no,
right.
I mean, I don't want to have anything to do with most 16-year-olds. So I think that.
Well, I mean, if I was 16, I'm not saying like now.
Oh no, I was.
Because no, I don't want to spend time with 16-year-olds. I'm saying if I was a 16-year-old and she was a 16-year-old, I would want nothing to do her.
Right.
So Sandra breaks down. Oh, no, hold on.
I pictured her getting down on the floor and with a cardboard box and like a little stereo doing like a break dance.
Wow.
Aww, she's feeling really healthy these days. Yeah. She's sorted her emotions.
She was misdiagnosed. The ritual didn't work. Despite Ilonka still insisting it worked for her. Sandra then admits it was her voice on the intercom that Spence heard because she wanted to give them all hope.
How is acting like a creepy bitch giving anybody hope? That would just terrify me. That wasn't a hopeful voice she was doing. She was like, Spence.
I know.
Instead of walking away really quickly, I think that she did terrify him and Hope did not.
Yes. He ran for an adult immediately, dude. He was just like, nurse man, hello, this door.
I need a grown-up.
Dude, I love that she waits till now. She could have just took that shit to her grave.
I know.
She was like, that was me. Raises her hand. Hey guys, what's up? Oh.
Especially since she is like the only one who for sure believes in an afterlife. As the Christian, she knows there's life after death.
She's like, God would be okay with it. He would have.
So why is she compelled to say, oh, by the way, that little bit of proof that there's life after death, it was me lying to you?
I think that when she found out she had to live a little bit longer, she was like, oh shit, I can't live with this for the rest of my life. I thought I was going to die next
with
month.
That little thing, yeah.
She's like, I have to come clean now.
Good God.
She's like, I've misled these poor dying kids, and now I'm not dying. This is egregious. I can't stand this. Like, this is awful.
Yes.
So Sandra storms out. Ilonka storms out also because she's, I don't know, pissed she's not the chosen one.
Oh, before she storms out, though, the lady's like, okay, but this had nothing to do with the ritual because this test got done before we did the ritual. And
right.
Well, maybe the ritual worked in a different way. Like, you cannot change the rules now. Like, what the hell? You're just trying to make it fit whatever your, like, thing is. That's stupid.
Yeah, totally. It's like trying to retroactively apply a fortune teller fortune. It's like, this actually meant this because, no, that's not how it works. I mean, it doesn't work. That's the secret.
Don't tell me that. I enjoy those cookies, Cooper.
Oh, well, I mean, at least you get a cookie after it.
It tells me I'm about to get $100 next month. I'm going to hope for that $100 next month.
Yeah, I think hope is a good thing.
Yeah, it makes the cookie taste better.
It does, because that's not a great cookie otherwise.
What? It's the end of your Chinese meal. It's like a little chef's kiss on top. A little crunchy chef's kiss. You guys don't like fortune cookies?
Well, I mean, I eat fortune cookies. It's just not a great cookie.
It's not like I would like randomly eat fortune cookies for the fun.
Yeah, if I had a bag of fortune cookies, I wouldn't eat them. Unlike other cookies where I'd eat the whole bag.
Right.
I do agree. I bought at the dollar store, they used to sell this big bag of a ton of tiny fortune cookies. And I remember I went to the dollar store and I bought like 2 bags and I took them to school for like a week. I was handing out fortunes and I was like, I felt like this amazing goddess of wisdom and fortune. And I was like, and so for a while, like after that, they'd be like, oh, fortune lady. And I'd be like, I don't have any fortunes today.
Aww.
Sorry. You know? And then nobody called me fortune lady after I told enough people that I didn't have them because it's $2. I'd already spent it. Like I wasn't making bank. Like I was into high school. Like I didn't. Anyway, I like them cookies.
It was like that beautiful halcyon moment.
Yes.
Where you were on top.
Yes, it's like all those iconic scenes in those 90s movies where the girls are super hot walking down the hallway, except it's me, frumpy and chunky, but all of my fortune cookies. I'm like making it rain with fortune cookies. It's fantastic.
Seriously?
Like that is my peak, like high school. Yeah.
I'm seeing it with the revved motion of like a Zack Snyder movie where you throw them up in the air and then suddenly it's slow motion.
Yes.
And everybody's clapping and
they're all by the lockers
up.
Looking. Yes. As I walk by, you see them slow motion turn with their mouths agape, watching me like,
and
oh my God.
Catching their fortunes.
Yes. Opening them. And then they're just like, there's like gold around them because they're so excited because they've gotten a really good fortune. Yes. Yes. Yes.
I see all of this.
Yes.
You really need to put that in a book. That's a fun little nugget right there. That's a character nugget. So back to this episode. Ilonka didn't feel she was awful enough in this meeting. So she goes downstairs and runs into Catherine with a picnic basket. It's Catherine, right?
Yes.
Okay. Again, this makes me question, where the fuck do they live? Because she just...
Sorry, I wasn't sure. I'm sorry. I think I misunderstood.
No, she just shows up a day before Family Day.
Yes.
Where does she live?
Wait, did Cassie say in a house? Like,
I thought he was saying. I thought he was asking where the kids lived, and I was like, in the house.
Oh,
like,
okay.
They live in the house, and Catherine doesn't. I misunderstood.
No.
I'm sorry.
So Kevin lives far enough away that his family doesn't visit him, except for on Family Day, but close enough to go to prom in a limo, and close enough that Catherine can just pop up to visit him for lunch.
I mean, she's dedicated.
Maybe Catherine's family is more wealthy than his family, so his mother can't afford to make the trip or take the time off of work.
Okay.
And Catherine can because she's a basic-ass little high school girl.
Okay.
Which would also make sense for the prom thing, too, because it's a special occasion.
Well, she's got
Plus,
prom
he's
photos
dying.
to show. He's dying. Yes, he's
like
dying.
Making the extra. I don't know why his mom's not making the extra effort, but she's like.
I feel like he's got a whole family who should be making the extra. But anyway, Ilonka, my note is what a cunt.
I remember liking this in the book. Like, I remember, like, yeah, you tell her, even though I didn't like Ilonka in the book, I was just like, I don't like Catherine. Like, she's getting in the way. Like, but in here, I was just like, oh my fucking God. Like, this is horrible.
Well, because we haven't spent enough time with this character or Kevin's feelings about this character, and she just seems like a very nice person.
Right, I'm Team Catherine all the way.
Yeah.
And so Ilonka just dressing her down for coming here and wanting to be with Kevin, and says how hard it is to put on a show for her. And thankfully, Kevin walks in and says, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
Because I was thinking that the whole time. You know, it's like oh my God. So Ilonka, here's where she's the most obvious teenage girl, where she just runs out all upset and goes to her other mom, Shasta, because she wants a place to stay because she ran away. And Shasta immediately snaps her fingers and gets some people to make up a room for her. Yeah. Let's take a break. And then we'll be back with more of the PikeCast. Stick with us. We'll get through it. All of us together.
It's true.
Wow, friends. Where else can you get this kind of programming than the PikeCast? Nowhere. That's where. But we're trying to keep the lights on here. If you like what you're hearing and want it to keep happening, jump over to our Patreon at thepikecast.com/Patreon and throw us a few bucks to join our private Discord server. Higher tiers get books, stickers, bookmarks, and even personalized shirts. That's thepikecast.com/Patreon.
Once, Osgood and Frost were the up-and-coming stars of the burgeoning paranormal investigation TV show craze before a hoax put an end to their friendship, partnership, and television careers. Now, over a decade later, Prudence Osgood is a barely functioning alcoholic ghost hunter for hire. Her yearning for mystery and adventure is reignited when she receives a cryptic, untraceable email. She can't resist embarking on an investigation that tugs threads, winding through a sinister series of disappearances, her former partner's family, and a night 20 years ago when a semi blew a yellow light and nearly killed her. Reviewers are calling Osgood Is Gone a masterfully vulnerable and relatable 21st century horror story, and a bourbon-soaked supernatural mystery with sparkling dialogue that sticks the landing on LGBT characters, and main character Prudence Osgood, as tortured as she is clever, broken in all the best ways, and a true heroine for our times. Buy it today at Osgood Is Gone as a paperback, ebook, or audiobook narrated by me, JJ Ronvier.
Okay, welcome back to the PikeCast. We are talking about Ilonka losing her goddamn mind, which is how Kevin puts it. Which is true. She is losing her goddamn mind. So Spence wants him to do what he wants to do, which Kevin says, but I don't want to break up with Catherine. And Spence is all like, well, it's interesting that you went there. You know, in some very poor psychoanalysis. So yes, clearly Kevin wants to break up with Catherine so he can be with Ilonka, the God knows why. And I mean, maybe because they live together and they can fuck.
And they both see old people, which is maybe a bonding experience.
People. Yes, that's true.
And funny
they
hallways.
Have that in common.
Mm-hmm. That French thing I don't know how to say.
Folle à deux.
It's really funny to me, Cooper, that you automatically jump to them having sex because, like, I was like, oh, maybe he just really likes her.
Well, I mean, but why else? No, here's the thing. You're dying.
I mean, true.
So, really liking your roommate, not a big deal. You don't have to break up with your girlfriend for that.
Well, like, he actually likes her. Like, he's like, oh, like, I mean, we don't like Ilonka, but Kevin does.
Yeah, so she's saying, so, like, maybe he's just like, oh, wow, I think I'm in love with her.
Yeah,
I'm not even thinking about boning down. I just want to spend more time with her because I want to be around her. Like, in a romantic sense. Whereas Cooper's more so like, Pound Town, like, let's go.
Like, that's clearly the only reason.
I
mean,
I feel there's a fucking ticking clock here, everybody.
I mean,
but so maybe that from their perspective. Yeah, and so he's like, look, I have stronger feelings for this girl, so I'm not going to, like, not saying it's a waste, but, like, he's just like, I'm not going to, it doesn't make any sense. I'm not even seeing this other girl. My feelings for her have changed because we're no longer on the same life path or whatever, like, life path to death, and now me and this other girl are about to be dead together. Might as well, like,
but,
you know.
But Kevin makes a really good point. Why the fuck would you tell someone that? If he's going to die regardless. So why tell this poor girl who's in love with a dying boy, you know, I just don't like you like that anymore because I'm in love with my my other dying friend. Why do that?
So for
Is that beneficial in any way?
Yeah, like no. I mean, it's not beneficial, but also I would do the same thing. Yeah, I'd be like, look, we had a good thing. I'm dying, so I'm not gonna continue this. Peace. I'm going to go continue something else. Honestly, I don't think I would even have to tell them that, but I'd just be like, look, like, I'm dying. We're on different paths. You go back to high school. Goodbye. Like, we can't do this anymore. Like, I think that's totally fair too, because like, if it's just like, okay, you know, this is terminal. It's like, they're in high school. They haven't been together for like 30 years. They're not like an old married couple, right. You know, like they're like a little teen. You got your prom photos, girl. Goodbye. Like you got your sad story to tell your next boyfriend. Like there's no reason for him to spend the rest of his short life not living it up with the girl he likes more now.
Right. And on the other side too, like Spence said, like, who are you really helping? Like, she's literally about to have a boyfriend that's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, just let it go already, man.
Early. Just like be like, yeah, now she can. Maybe it's going to be a little bit easier for her too this way. If they're like broken up, she's like, oh, this sucks. It's sad, blah, blah, blah. And then like 3 months later he dies. And instead of it's just like, oh God, I've lost my boyfriend to death. It's like, oh, my ex-boyfriend to death. How? That's painful, but damn, like, well, my new boyfriend can help console me.
And I think you should just always be honest. Like, if you don't like somebody anymore, you tell them that.
Yeah.
Like, it's not fair.
Yeah, no, because he's just stringing her along. Then she's still making these long trips instead of living a good high school life, just so she can come back and see her little sick boyfriend who doesn't even want to be with her anymore.
Right. Catherine deserves better. Hashtag.
This is therapy time and relationship advice with Becca and Cassie.
Yeah. Sure. We got you.
Yes.
Just ask us questions about your relationship life and we'll...
Meanwhile, I'm playing the moral ambiguity card of a dying person. Just do what you want.
Yeah, he's just like, go bone down. You don't got to tell anybody about anything, dude. Let bitches think what they want.
So Kevin does say that he doesn't finish his stories because once they end, they fade away.
God.
Which again is a nice overwrought way of saying what?
Kind of a basic little white kid. It's just like, I'm not going to finish my story because once I do, it fades away. Like, you sit the fuck down, you mediocre little oatmeal boy. Like, oh my God. Like, I have such feelings about mediocrity and people like him, and it really bothers me when they say stupid things like that. I don't like it.
Well, it explains why we never got the end of Master of Murder. That was the story, right? Ooh. Master of Murder?
Wicked Heart? No.
Wicked Heart?
Wicked Heart, yeah.
Okay.
Well, Dusty?
There is a story called The Master of Murder, though, right?
There is. That is a book.
Good. Okay. Good. Yeah, Wicked Heart. You're right. So then, after eating the greatest meal she's ever had, apparently.
Next to a bunk bed?
Being served it in the middle of an empty room on a tiny, I mean, Have they quarantined her?
Why is she by herself like that?
Yeah, why is she by herself?
The door's closed and everything.
And so then Flip-Flopper Ilonka decides, I should go back.
Flip-Flopper.
Thanks for the food, bitch. Peace.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to go. And then we get the reveal that, honestly, I have no idea why I didn't think of this.
This
that
is what I was
Shasta
trying not to
is
say.
Julia Jayne.
Yeah. There were times you guys kept guessing. You never guessed that one.
Here's why I didn't think of it. Because even though I know this is set in the 90s, I still think of the 60s as way too long ago for both Stanton and Shasta to have been prevalent in the 60s. I think that's what the problem is.
That makes sense.
I'm just not... That part of the timeline just feels like, they'd show it in black and white.
You're like, no, they would be dead by now, surely. There's no way.
Not that, no. Just that it's not like the modern era of the show. I don't know.
This is like when you mentioned the gum of the 80s, and I'm just like, yeah, that thing.
Those people who chewed Hubba Bubba must be dead by now. Bubblicious, I think it was also.
I think I remember. I think I remember that. Did they mention that one in the book with Bubba? They called him Bubblicious once or something.
I don't know. Maybe they did.
They should have. If they didn't, it was a missed opportunity.
Missed opportunity indeed. So, meanwhile, in a whole other movie, basically, R.N. Mark takes Spence to an LGBT game night where they're going to play Catchphrase, which I checked came out in 1994.
Oh, that's a real game?
It is. It's a fun game, too. You get a thing. It's like one of those things where you have to get someone to say something
like
without.
Charades?
No, like taboo.
I don't.
It's like you have a word you need to get them to say, and you can say all sorts of things, but you can't say that word or these words.
Can you give me an example?
Taboo used to slap back in my day. I love Taboo. Sorry,
I played Charades and Pictionary, which so you have to get people to guess stuff, but I don't.
But it's all verbal. It's not.
So if I want somebody to guess the thing, like the word hospital, I would say like you go there to see a doctor.
Yes, but in Taboo, you probably can't say the word doctor.
How the fuck does this work?
There's a list of words you can't say.
Oh my god, what a nightmare. Do you get to hold the card or do you have to memorize the words you can't say?
You get to hold the card.
But nobody else can see your card?
Right.
Do you stand up like in Charades?
You don't have to.
This seems so much less interactive than the two I like. This seems like a lot more thinking and sitting. The other ones are like drawing and like running in place and like doing fun things with your arms. And
I mean, I suppose in Taboo you could still play Charades rules.
Can you act it out?
Sure.
But can you make sounds, which is actually like easier?
Yeah, you
Charades.
just can't say the words.
Dang, I want to play this now.
Well, I honestly have forgotten the cornerstones of Catchphrase. But there is a digital one where you flip it. It's worth playing.
I thought it was a thing made up for the episode. Like I thought they were just making up their own little game. Like,
thing.
We're playing pool time. Like, what is that? Like, we jump in the pool and scream pool time. Like when I was little, I made up a game called Ghost Boo with my brothers, and like you put a sheet over your head. It's Marco Polo, but one person who can't see says ghost, and the other people run around and say boo, and you have to try to tag them. And we would just break furniture because we can't see, and we're doing it in our house, and my mom would scream at us. But it was like so much fun.
I want to play.
That does sound really cool. That also should be in a book.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
That's a character trait.
Did you make this? Because another one. We took this long beam and set it up to the top bunk, and I would hang my brothers from it and be like, "We're playing fireman. I have to save you from the burning building." One time, my brother fell and like cut open his leg, and we couldn't play fireman anymore. Also, okay, one more. This is just the last one. There's another one called The Wolf, and I made up a lot of games for my brothers.
Apparently, yeah.
I just played with we also played Teen Titans and also Dragon Ball Z, where we were different characters and like acted. Anyways, but the other game, the Wolf game, we'd like two of us would get on the bed and one was on the floor, the wolf, and you'd hang your leg or your arm off, and the wolf has to grab you and try to pull you off, but the other one has to pull you and keep you on. So it's like tug of war with like a person, but you're like, no, the wolf's gonna get you, like, and you pull them back onto the bed, and like it's just so fun. I miss my brothers. That was so much fun. I haven't seen them since I moved here.
Aw.
Sorry, I got unexpectedly sad about Ghost Boo and the wolf.
It's okay.
They were fun though.
Yeah.
Talk about something else.
Okay, let's go back to this LGBT game night where there's going to be a Capitol Hill speech. We're introduced to a whole bunch of new folks who actually have things going on with them and names, and it's a lot because it's short. And then they say they've got some weed if Spence wants to paint some shirts, and Spence sits down at the table of the painted shirts and immediately puts his arms right into the painted area of the shirt. I mean, he doesn't know those are dry. What the fuck is he doing?
The whole scene is so weird because when he walks in the room right before that, he doesn't know any of these people. Imagine walking into a room with nobody you know. Everybody turns to look at you, and your first thing is like, "What are you guys doing?" Like, what the fuck? Who are you? What's happening? What? Like they responded really well, but it was just weird and awkward.
I mean, on one hand, I think this is a really sweet little thing that Mark is taking Spence to see his friends.
Yes.
An LGBT community who is not terrified of it. It really is very sweet. It just feels so out of place and so last minute.
Plus, they offer him beer, and he's like 16, right?
Yeah, that's true.
They're like offering him drugs. I know, but still, like, I just feel like there are certain ethical things in place where the nurse of your hospice should not be taking you out to a place.
Well, I was worried about that too.
Drugs and alcohol, like, and then, but I mean, I guess if we're following that line of thinking, there could be something to be said for Stanton and the fact that two kids are fucking in the room, like on her watch. So I guess this is just a very lax, loose, they're dying, let them do whatever sort of environment.
I was worried that when Mark and Spence came back in the car, I was worried they were going to kiss. And that would have made me very uncomfortable.
I was worried about that too.
Wait, really? I didn't get that vibe at all. No.
I thought, okay, I'm going to take you to see my friends and see everything's cool and and being gay is fine, and here let's make out.
Yeah,
I was worried about that.
I like Mark is the same way. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Mark.
Okay. I like Mark a lot, but I trust him. I truly trust it with my life.
That's why I was worried about it. Yeah.
I was like, don't tell me.
Yeah.
But I honestly didn't know how old Spence was. I didn't pay attention.
I just assumed he was like, they're all teens.
Right.
They're teens, yeah. So.
Can I wait? Sorry, go back. Was there something he did that made it seem like that would happen?
No, they were just sitting in the car after a kind of a date. You know, they went out together. They left the hospital. Like last time they went out, they specifically went out because Spence had to go to his mom's.
I know. So that doesn't make this more normal, like less of a date because they've been out together.
No, it feels more like a date because they're going somewhere together.
Oh, I don't understand. Is it because what if one of them was not gay? Would it still feel like a date?
I didn't feel date vibes, to be honest. It was just in the car. I felt something. I don't know.
I mean, clearly it wasn't a date.
No, I know. Okay, look, so this has always been a problem for me, like from an autistic perspective, where I just do not understand if anybody's flirting with me or if there are like vibes or anything. Like, I don't get that.
I will say there were no vibes.
There was nothing. Okay. Okay.
At no point did Mark seem like he was going to kiss her. I was worried that the show was going to do that.
So you just thought like this is a possibility and I hope the writers didn't go here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, yes. I'm sorry. So when you said that though, I was like, wait, did they do something that I just completely ignored or missed? Like, what the fuck?
I'm sorry, I was unclear there. Mark the character did nothing to indicate it.
Same
They're
page.
just sitting in the car talking quietly, And
you were
I
just hoping
worried
that
about it. Yeah.
I get you. Okay.
I still trust Mark with my life. Don't worry.
Yeah, no, he was so nice. It seemed like, so from my perspective, I was just like, wow, that's so nice that he's like, obviously there's a little bit of an ethical thing because he's his nurse person, but like, it's nice that he has like, this kid obviously does not have a lot of other like gay people in his life or people that are part of that could introduce him to that sort of world for him. And like for him, it could be very isolating and alienating being raised how he was and being rejected by how he was raised and not having anything now. And now he's dying on top of that. So it's just like, so I was just like, wow, that's like so sweet, like so nice. Also, he's really awkward when he meets them, but he's not socialized. So that's fine. I get that. But then the flirting thing just took me by such surprise. I was like, wait a minute. Oh shit. What? I got a different vibe. I don't understand.
I get why you didn't get the vibe. I see that. Yeah, absolutely. And Zach Gilford is just great in this show and in general. I actually just watched a horror movie called There's Something Wrong with the Children that he stars in. It just came out. And he was great in that, too. So he's a great actor. And he did nothing to indicate that he was going to make out with a young boy.
He gives me such rom-com vibes, so I'm surprised that he's in like a spooky movie.
I mean, he's been in all of Flanagan's work, I think, or he was in Midnight Mass at least.
I haven't seen all of that.
Yeah, I'm looking to see what else he was.
I watched the other one, so he did look familiar, but like he just when he
he was in The Purge.
Was he?
Your first
Purge
one?
Anarchy.
I just recently I don't know if I recently watched like because I had never seen those before, and so last year I like found them streaming, and I like watched like I don't know how many there are, but I watched just a lot of however.
I think there's 6 of them.
Yeah, well, okay, maybe I watched like 4. But I had never seen it, so I was just like,
I really like them,
dude. It freaks me out now because I think about that, and I'm just like, what if they decide to let that happen? Like, oh my god,
I know.
Like,
no.
It's freaky. It freaks me out so bad.
I definitely liked that the longer the series went on, the more they just became okay. Well, this is the Republicans over here.
Yeah. Does the guy not give you? So you guys couldn't picture him like in like with Katherine Heigl or something, you know?
Oh
like,
no, he totally has that leading man
like
romance
smile. Yeah,
totally.
He reminds me of Paul Rudd a little bit. Like yeah.
But he's also very good in horror. Like this, There's Something Wrong with the Children is one of those movies where the kids are doing horrible things, but then they're making it seem like they weren't, and so he's the guy who knows they're doing horrible things. And everyone else thinks he's crazy.
Cool.
Yeah. It's worth seeing.
Check it out.
Yeah. So Mark says, fear is like radiation. You spend enough time around it and it changes you genetically. And that's nice. It's still overwrought, but it's nice. And he says now more than ever, we need to be visible, gay people. Yeah, and it's timely. Great. Just again, it's episode 9. Feels like this story may not actually lead anywhere. Okay. So now it's the Midnight Club. And Ilonka isn't there and Sandra isn't there. And then Sandra arrives and everyone's like, oh, we're so happy you're going home. And, great. And then Ilonka arrives and apologizes. And thankfully, Kevin scoffs at the apology. It's like, okay, yes, you can't just get out of this, Ilonka, because you were a dick. I don't like her. I don't at all.
I don't think Catherine likes her either.
Anyway, well, poor Catherine. Yeah. Spence tells his story, The Eternal Enemy, where we get him in the lead, Rel. I think it was Rella in the book.
I don't remember that.
Because it's a female lead in the book, right?
Oh.
Pretty sure.
I think because I've seen this episode now a couple of times, and now I think parts of it have replaced it, but I do think you're right.
Yeah.
And she supposedly had like really like cool hair or something.
Well, they all do, don't they?
I think so.
I mean, she is a robot.
I'm going to be honest with you that I've read that book one time and it was for our episode. I read it right before the episode. I don't know. I'm shrug. I don't know.
Well, Spence's story is filled with things that are very obvious. Like he's got a poster for Terminator and Back to the Future and RoboCop.
His little Stephen King book.
He's reading The Dead Zone.
Yeah. So cute.
But Terminator, Back to the Future, and RoboCop.
Yeah.
Like, could you be more obvious about what this story is? About robots from the future?
But they
time
don't tell
traveling
you till the end, so you don't know.
But I mean, come on, those three movies. Anyway.
I was just like, he's got cool taste in movies. What's up? Like, I don't know. I didn't think like, oh, robot episode. I was like, yeah, this is topical for the time.
Okay, that's fine. So he buys a VCR so folks will hang out with him.
Wait, you missed it. He's in love with the one guy. That's all he can think about.
Yes, he's in love with Chris Perry, who's an actor who's not one of the main cast. And I wondered if they did that specifically because the main cast members would feel weird about being.
I just figured they needed somebody extra.
I guess.
Who would they? So Amesh is already boning down with and then one dude is already full of double vision with other and he's already got another side on the third side. You know, like so. I feel like these people. It would have been weird. Like, okay, now they're getting boned down here. Now here's a story where we're going to watch him also, you know, like.
Okay, that's true.
I feel like Spence needs his own, like he deserves his own little bit, you know, like he doesn't have somebody that he can bone down with in the place.
You know, it should have been the guy from Mark's party.
I think they were all over 18.
Oh, well.
They all seem an adult. And
it's just weird that our guest stars in this episode is Ilonka's stepdad, who's a newscaster.
Oh,
Ilonka,
I did not pick up on that.
He's the newscaster. Ilonka is also a reporter.
I think I noticed that.
And Sandra is the girl that gets saved.
Gets saved, yes. I did notice that. So the way that this guy looks, and this is no offense to the man who plays him, nothing. I don't mean this. He's not going to listen to this, so who gives a shit? But so that guy, when every single time I've told you every single book that there's a bland, white, basic ass, oatmeal, mediocre looking, like, blah, you know,
is this the guy?
This is what I pictured. Like, this is. I can't picture like white dude more than this. Like, just it's astounding to me. Like when it zooms in on him and the guy's like, and he was all I could think about, and then it zooms to this guy's face, and I'm just like, what? I beg your pardon? What the fuck? Like the ending does explain it, but just can you imagine sitting in a room and that's the only thing you see and that's all you can think about and that you're looking at and like obsessing over your whole life?
Yeah, sitting in the common room building a robot rather than being in a lab of some sort building a robot, which probably would be more effective.
He's not even reading the dead zone. He's just holding it and staring.
No, he's just holding it. Yeah.
A little oatmeal with my reading. I love it.
So he buys a VCR and he has dreams, alien sci-fi stuff dreams.
Those are cool. They're creepy.
Yeah, they are. And then apparently this transfer student gets HBO in his dorm room. It's because he set a tape to tape the Terminator so they can watch Terminator together. And Chris does a big swing here, bringing over wine and cheese to their Terminator movie night. And says a line that should not be this funny. Come with Bree if you want to live.
Best part of this entire episode.
I'm actually embarrassed by how funny I found that.
Oh my god, I love it so much. Also, Brie is delicious.
Brie is. Oh, I love
so
Brie.
Good. Every time I eat Brie, I have like a chunk of bread and some grapes with it, and I feel like I'm like Marie Antoinette in a fancy
oh yeah,
palace.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, really grapes and a fancy cheese. You never feel more classy.
Or you feel like a hobbit. You're like, oh, I'm a little hobbit eating my bread. You know, like I love it. So that's literally probably my favorite meal is just to have like a weird little hobbit meal or like a fancy palace, you know, but just bread and cheese and like fruit. It's so good.
That's very cute.
It's very delicious. I don't know about cute because I'm shoveling bread in them.
Well, I'm not actually seeing you do it. I'm imagining. So version of me in the version of you in my imagination is very cute doing this.
Very dainty and clean, but the real life one is just like, give me that brie.
You're literally saying nom 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 while you're doing it.
Yeah, just popping like those grapes in. Oh, what a good time. I really want that now.
So there's another fun, quirky thing that I wish they'd done more in the series, which is have the story be meta a little bit. Like he mentions the seabirds and the rushers, and Kevin says that, well, these are not team names. You think these are team names? And then the newscaster says, a huge upset for the Niners, a very real upset for a very real sports team.
I mean, Spence really does have a really good story. Okay,
that's fun and weird and would totally have been a cool, because you've got the narrator aspect, which is so much fun to play with if you're not just doing boring narrator, I guess.
I thought this is an interesting choice too, because there's I didn't know that it was happening until after they pointed it out, and I was like, oh, are those not real team names? And so when they did that, I was like, oh, okay, like I learned something new. Those apparently are not real team names, even though they sound like.
Well, also the seabirds and the rushers, I mean, there is nothing less team name about them than any other fucking sports team.
That's what I'm saying. Like they could be like what the Florida Gators, like rushers, Gators. What the heck?
Okay.
Like, who cares?
Great. You know, like Kevin is getting irrationally angry about this.
Yeah. That's what I thought was really interesting, because it's just like, why does he care so much about these things like that are not even a main part of the story? It's weird.
No, it's and I was waiting for Spence to just say, look, dude, I don't do this when you're talking.
He's like, fuck it. It wasn't a sportscaster. It was a cooking show. Okay.
Yeah. Then they bet on whether the cake will rise, whether the bread will rise. Yeah. So Chris is gay, which is very convenient in that way there. They're watching the same game at the bar the next day, and there's generic douchebag with the backwards cap sitting at the bar. They realize they taped the future. And did you hear about the local third grader winning the national clogging championship? Did you hear that?
Is that no?
The end of that newscast, when they're talking again, they name drop a person. I didn't write down her name, and then say she's a local third grader who won the national clogging championship.
Is there a national?
I had no idea there was a clogging championship. I thought clogs were just shoes. I don't know.
Well, it's they do a dance, I think.
Oh no, that's true. Okay,
yeah,
but it was very weird.
Okay. So now I'm going to interject one time, because if he thinks that's weird, the other, recently I found out there is an American championship for mullets, and they have different age ranges. So there are teen boys, and then there are under teen boys, and then there are children's, and they rate them and score them on their mullet. And you can look it up, and there are photos of these little boys with their mullets, and it is fucking bananas. I have never in my life thought I would see something like that. I'm still shocked, which is why it was the first thing I thought of just now. And I have to share
weird.
It with you. Do not cut this.
Weird.
Tell everybody about it. I want everyone to know that this exists. Yeah. That voice you have, that's how I feel inside, but my voice doesn't do that.
What is my voice?
It's like a deeply disappointed, sad shaking your head. What have we done to deserve this? This state of living. It's like the voice you use when you have to talk about Ilonka.
Yeah, no, I totally understand what you're telling me.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
So they tape it again. They go back to the bar, and they make a big bet with this douchebag at the bar who calls them ladies, which I assume is a gay thing, but I don't know.
I'm assuming so.
Yeah, I don't know. They didn't look very feminine or anything. I don't know why.
No. You're right. I don't know.
It's possible that the guy might have knew Chris though, because didn't Chris he brought somewhere
because Chris actually is a person from this time.
Yeah.
Unlike Rel. So Spence and Chris do it. Yay! Then there's a new news report, a freak accident. An air conditioner falls on a student. And that air conditioner, good Lord, is just shimmying across the thing.
That's literally one of my biggest fears, is that my... straight up. But not that I'm going to get hit with an air conditioner, but that it's going to fall out and my cat's going to jump out the window.
Me too. Me too. I have, I'm on the second floor and my air conditioners,
I'm on the first floor and I'm still scared.
Oh, well, geez. Like you'd have to walk and you'd have to make an effort to get under one of those.
No, I'm not scared about me. I'm scared that it's going to come out of my window. My cat's going to jump out the window and run away.
Oh, you're...
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I have, ever since, have you seen Dead Like Me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the show Dead Like Me and also the movie Donnie Darko, they're both about things flying out of the sky from like planes or whatever and like crashing or like, space station, I don't know, satellite, whatever. Anyways, since I was like 16, I've seen both of those around the same time. And like, I have this like terrible fear that if I'm in too big of a place, like an open space, like if I'm not in a city, like it's just a big field, something could fly out of the sky and fall on me and crush me like a toilet or a toilet seat or whatever.
That would be surprising.
I mean, yeah, but it could, I am sure it could happen.
It could happen.
And if you're like, if there are a lot of things around you, like for example, if I'm next to like a big tree, like maybe it'll hit the tree. If I'm next to a building, maybe it'll hit the building. But if I'm just in an open field, I'm the only thing there.
It is just as likely to hit a foot to your right in an open field as it is to hit a tree next to you.
You'd think that, but the way
it's not like lightning. It's not drawn to the tree.
I'm not saying it's not even that. It's just that the misery and misfortune is drawn to me in particular.
Okay.
So if there's a way for it to go wrong in that field, it will. And I don't like to tempt it, so I don't go out in nature because of flying toilets.
Sure.
Love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back to the... Yeah. No, sure. So the air conditioner falls. Rel saves Sandra by tackling her, and there's a creepy watcher. So they feel like things are off. They've done something here. And Chris is going on a trip to see his mother, who lives 40 minutes away. That's an afternoon visit. That's not a trip.
That's weird.
What, like, I don't understand there. That's
like
if I
want to go to the special store that sells my rice noodles, I gotta drive quite a bit, but it's not a trip. It's not like I'm taking a day trip for rice noodles. I'm running to the grocery store.
You gotta stay over. You gotta, when you want rice noodles, you gotta get a hotel room.
I know, like the hotel next to the rice noodle shop. Just like, man, what are you doing?
So they make a pact not to record anymore, but Rel does it anyway. There's more sci-fi dreams and lasers in the eye. The laser was cool.
Yeah. It was very it looked like Frankenstein-y sort of.
Yeah. Then the news report is so weirdly ambiguous. Some sort of projectile was thrown into the window emitting some sort of gas.
I know
it is so vague.
He says one part too, and he's just like, and then the mother was knocked out, and then allegedly, like,
right.
How a report would sound. This is so weird.
Basically, what we're learning is Spence is a very bad storyteller.
He did have the one good bit where he changed it to the Niners, though.
He did. No, and that was
funny.
Good. And so Rel goes to the house. Seriously, this looked like the Green Goblin pumpkin bomb from Spider-Man. Right.
I'm trying to...
Just me?
I can see it.
I'm confused. Whose house are we going to?
The mom's house.
But he's talking about the green... do you know Green Goblin?
When he throws in the little purple thing. Yes. Okay. Yes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yes.
Sorry. Okay. So... Chris and Mom pass out, but Rel doesn't. Dun, dun, dun. The creepy guy comes in. Rel stabs him with a lamp. Which
that was cool.
Was cool, but a surprise.
He hits him with it once, and I think that's when it breaks the top and shatters it, so now only the sharp electricity bits are there.
Right.
Which somehow when he smashes it, it doesn't break the electricity or bits or anything.
It just zaps him.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
So... The guy looks like an older Chris.
Does he, though?
I don't think so.
I didn't either.
But Rel does.
Yeah, he's immediately like, and why do you look like Chris? And I'm like, bitch, have you seen Chris? This does not look like him. This man has lips. I'm serious though. Like, am I wrong? Like, they don't look alike.
They don't look alike. So he points out that Rel doesn't have a past. It's like,
I like that.
What high school did you go to? And it's another case where the shorthand of this show makes them have to just tell stuff rather than reveal it, you know? Because in a longer thing, you could have Rel not remember where he's from and have that be a mystery. But here, it's just like, you know how you do that thing where you don't remember your past? It's like, what thing? We haven't talked about that. But he doesn't.
But I thought
he's a robot.
I thought that was an interesting way of doing it, though, because it's like, so they could have hinted it, but then you would know that there's something that's being hinted at. You would know something's off and that there is a mystery. I think it's much more of a twist sideswipe, which I do think it's a little bit cheaper as well, because then it's like, how could I have picked up on this? Which, so I get what you're saying, but right. I particularly like it where I'm just like, fuck, like I didn't even know this was a possibility. Sure. Okay. Oh shit. Yeah. Like, yeah, if they've lied to me, like if they, up until then, if he had a backstory that he remembered and then they were just like, oh, but all of that was implanted in fake, I would be angry because I don't like being lied to just for a twist. That really bothers me in stories. But if something just wasn't mentioned conveniently and it was not, like I should have noticed that he never mentioned anything, you know, like that's what I would think. I'd be like, oh, I didn't even pick up on that. But that's, if I had picked up on the fact that he never mentioned anything prior, maybe I would have been suspicious. So I kind of feel it as like I failed maybe a little bit. And then it's like good.
Well, I mean, but neither of them mentioned anything about their history. So,
which is why it's like a twist. But in this, I think it's a little bit different because you don't, in a book, it would be easier for him to notice that he's not thinking about anything prior, no relationships, nothing else. I do think that they tell you in the beginning, it's like all he can think about is this, but you're thinking like, oh, it's his first love, you know, whatever. But he's like, literally, I don't have anything before this. Like, this is all I can think about, which then it changes that when you realize.
Right. So his name isn't Rel. It's the acronym Robotic Experimental Logistics. He escaped back in time because he had emotions.
How, though?
I don't know.
I want to know how. That's what bothers me. Because, like, don't tell me that in one big monologue. You know I love a good monologue. But if you're not a monologue and explain, then fucking explain. Don't just be like, yeah, you slipped back through time and I've been hunting you down, bitch.
It's like, so I created robots, but I also created time travel. I mean, that's big. I don't know. But we do get a Mike Flanagan staple here when Rel degloves himself, pulling his hand off to reveal the robot hand. So that's another degloving. We had one in Gerald's game. We had one in Dr. Sleep. It's a staple.
Keep on listening to these things I have not seen, Cooper. Go for it.
You gotta watch these things.
At this point, it's just so funny to me because I keep meaning to watch it. I swear to God, I do. I don't know why.
So old Chris is also a robot, but sort of he got sick and replaced parts over and over and over. So at some point, he replaced his skull with robot skull.
I thought that was cool because I think that's like a nice little commentary on us and like technology in general and where we're going. So I thought that's like eventually like how tied we are to our phones and shit, like how we can't function without like our phones or computers and stuff like that. And just like obviously that's like one step a little bit further, but like, is it though? Like, I feel like there are rich people.
Oh no, absolutely.
Yeah. Like,
and it asks the question, the philosophical question of if you replace parts over and over and over, at what point is it something new?
Exactly. Yes. That's what, and I really like that as a theme in like sci-fi, especially. Like that's one of my favorite things. Like, when does a human stop being human? When they bonded too much with technology, which I think is just like creepy and like obviously not a straight horror way, but in a very like just creepy, scary sci-fi way.
Right. So because Rel suffers from a disease called fear and sadness.
This is stupid. I'm so sorry, but that was just, I literally laughed out. Like I laughed out loud. I was just like, what? The fear of disease of fear?
Very stupid. Like, it's like, okay, Look, Spence, we get your metaphor. You were afraid because you have AIDS. You were afraid to be who you are. I get it. You don't have to just keep emphasizing it.
Oh,
we all get it.
I didn't.
Oh, really?
I didn't tie that to his real life.
Oh, no, it's totally because of fear. Oh, good Lord, yeah. Does that make it better for you? It didn't make it better for me.
God. Hang on, I'm loading. Hang on. The whole story.
The whole story is about his fear of being openly gay.
Oh, my God.
I mean, he's a robot because he's pretending to be something
weird that it was
he
a random
isn't.
sci-fi episode, and I was like, I guess they just had to fit a book in here, and like,
no, it's
okay.
It's
so
thematic. It's just not well done.
God,
thematic.
Honestly, that doesn't make me like it more because my least favorite part is his little fucking thing on the TV at the end where he does his Batman voice and overacts his face, and just knowing that it was like supposed to be like emotional from his real, like he's sitting at the table telling them this story.
Yeah.
You know, Cassie, I am so mad at you.
Why?
Because I actually, because the last time you mentioned his voice, I didn't notice it. But this time, I sure as hell noticed it.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Can you hear it? He's like, I'm Batman.
Yeah.
I'm Spencer. Yeah. Like, he whispers. It's weird because first of all, the moment doesn't warrant whispering. And then second of all, he's on a TV and it's at like normal volume and his face and like actions look like he's speaking normally, but his voice sounds like he's in your ear trying to make you feel something. And I fucking hate it, dude. I don't like being spoken to like with a whisper. I can't do that.
Yeah. Yep, I definitely noticed it.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Did you notice his face though?
Yeah. I noticed it all.
Yeah. Like, I'm so sorry. I love you.
I love you.
Yep, I noticed it all. I'm sorry to any of our listeners that have also noticed. And again, this is nothing to him. He's great. This is fantastic. It's just not for me.
Well, let's get back to this here. Apparently, Rel's mission is to kill Chris, which Rel forgot when he went back in time.
It makes no sense. So because he's telling him, he's like, you have this sub-program under that I put in there, and it's to kill me. What? You programmed him to go back in time and kill yourself? Like, but then you're coming back to kill him to stop him from the thing that you programmed him to do?
I don't know what's going on there.
I literally tried over and over again, and I can usually get behind a convoluted sci-fi theme, but this did not make sense.
Well, and here he wraps it up in the worst way. You still fear the eternal problem. The eternal enemy is in you. Fear.
So they said the thing. They said it.
They said the
I got excited. I yelled out loud when I was watching this. Yeah, I was like, they said the thing. He was like, the eternal enemy. I was like, yeah, they said the thing.
So, yeah. Then Rel says, if you need me to die so you feel a little less afraid, you do you, but I'm not defective. You are. And I love you anyway. What the fuck?
His mouth and eyebrows, he's like, yeah, but I love you anyway.
So he's not defective, despite the fact that he came back in time to murder the guy he's in love with.
And that the time travel literally wiped his memory. So factually, you are, buddy. You're defective.
Totally
you don't got a memory. Yeah, that's what that means factually, like point blank. Sorry.
So Rel records on the tape and is killed. Chris wakes up and sees Rel's, wrap up here, like, I love you, I'm a robot from the future, and you're going to do these things.
He starts it with, hey there, sweetie. When did they ever call each other pet names? Like, it's so
uncomfortable.
Strange. It's weird.
It really is.
I will say, I do like the fact that the way that he's been doing this is by literally just touching the cassette tape, and by doing that, it like imprints the stuff that he doesn't actually remember. Like, I thought that was interesting. And then that they tell him that, and it's like I feel like it's such an adjustment that he has to come to grips with, like, oh fuck, I'm not real. Oh fuck, I can touch this thing, and that happens. But he still manages to, like, in that last second think, like, I need to get a message. I love this guy, and he touches it, and like, I thought that was very like, sweet. I did like that.
And that's right from the book, if I recall. And so it's not this weird Reader's Digest condensed version that we've got where nothing makes sense. But then there's again this problem because Rel is defective. He has no memory and he came in back in time to murder his creator. That feels like a problem. But Spence identifies too much with this, and he says that Rel was perfect and that we all are perfect. Which is weird, because while that's a good point, it's not actually the moral of your story, because again, he was a robot who came back in time to murder his creator.
Didn't they have sex?
And they had sex,
He literally created his own sex robot and then sent it. He didn't send it back in time, but his sex robot went back in time and had sex with his teen. Okay, they're in college, I'm going to assume. So I'm going to assume that they're
in college,
yeah. That had sex with his adult self. Why couldn't they just live happily ever after? I'm confused.
I know, right?
Why did the other oatmeal have to come back and spoil everything for the first oatmeal? Like, I don't get it. They were so cute. Like, they woke up in that bed having wine and cheese time. Like, what? The brie joke?
I know, right?
There was so much potential for
the brie joke may be the cutest thing in the entire series, I think.
Yeah, it was. I really do like when they woke up in the bed, though, and then they just smiled and she's standing at the door and they're just like, oh, fuck, like everybody knows now.
Yeah.
I do like that. Was a very cute part of the series too. But yes, the brie joke. I can't. Why? It makes, honestly, and from so many points, it makes no sense.
Well, and then there's this that complicates things further. So Spence got AIDS from a boy named Christopher.
Oh, do you think that actor is supposed to be the guy? Like the guy in that is maybe his guy that he knew.
Maybe.
So that's why it's a different actor.
But at the same time, like, are we supposed to feel like Spence would have murdered Chris given the opportunity because he got AIDS from him?
Of all the names they changed, they should have changed that one.
Yeah, I don't know what they're trying to tell us here. But he then tells Sandra to make the future good for her. Good, great. Just go make the future good. Yeah. Okay, it's 3 a.m. Ilonka sneaks out of her room and lets Shasta and some other girls, random women, in. Shasta is wearing all white and looks like she belongs on the cover of that Grease book. Which is that book?
Oh, The Immortal.
Book, The Immortal, yeah.
Yes.
They go to the cult room. She keeps referring to Ilonka as Bright Girl, which is getting annoying. So they do the ritual again, and Shasta is in the middle. She gets the blood thumbprints. They all drink this bloody sludge that Shasta brought. Ilonka is nervous, and she doesn't drink. She wants to know what it is. As she's about to drink, Stanton comes in with a fire poker from the back of the room.
Yeah, she walks from behind a pillar just suddenly. Hello.
Yeah. So, stepping aside all the things happening, does that mean there's another entrance to the basement room? Because they would have noticed if she came down the ancient elevator.
She did not use the elevator.
So there might be another entrance that Stanton has alone. Maybe.
I will not say anything about it.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, Shasta.
So she walks in with this fire poker and is like, everybody stop. Two women get up and walk over to her, and she doesn't even try to swing on him. Why are you holding the poker, ma'am? Yeah. They grab her arms and like incapacitate her immediately. They're not even strong women. They look like frail little like forest dwellers, you know? Like they're not out. They're sipping hippie juice. They're not like she's like I can't with this in the poker. The poker was so stupid. Why did you come in with a poker?
Right, she has such a great weapon.
On some girls. Yeah. Yes, it's just I wanted to see the poker connect, and it didn't. I saw this time when I was watching, I saw it and I was like, oh, she's about to swing, and then she just like stands there and lets herself be grabbed and held. I'm like, huh?
So Shasta demands that Ilonka drink now, as the other women are literally dying in front of her. So, yeah. Shasta is a bad guy, like I suspected.
Right. Like we called from the beginning.
Yeah.
It's true.
Because you should never... There's a line in 30 Rock that says, never go with a hippie to a third location. To a second location. Yeah. And yeah.
Definitely don't drink their fucking bile tea.
Don't drink what they give you. So yeah, that's the episode. Woo. Who wants to go first with their favorite thing?
So then Shasta goes after Ilonka because she wants to force her to drink it. And Ilonka gets there and she slams her head backwards. And because she is so inept at being a human being, when she just juts backwards a little bit out of surprise, she slams her back of her head so hard on the pillar that she blacks out.
Oh,
and that's
geez, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah,
okay.
She shakes backwards away from it because Shasta crawls at her really quickly while the other women are throwing up blood and foaming at the mouth, dying. And she's like reaching for her, and Ilonka's like, oh, and she sits back, slams her head on a pillar, and is like, to the side, and then she's dead. Well, not dead, but she like blacks out.
No, yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Yeah.
What an episode.
Cliffhanger ending, but wow, the rest.
I'm calling right now. The Brie joke is my favorite part of the episode.
I'm gonna have to be with you on that, Goop.
Oh, okay.
I do. Between that and Natsuki and Amesh in the room.
No, that's definitely on my list.
It made me like Ilonka too. The way she looks at Natsuki and she's like, okay.
yeah. Get some, girl.
Yeah. And then she's just like, get out of here. Closes the door in her face. Like, I just thought that was a really cute, like relatable teen moment between the three of like friends.
And again, it just makes me wish that we were spending more time with characters I actually like.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Least favorite.
There's a list. I'm trying to pick.
There is a list. I'm just going to say Ilonka and underline it.
Yeah.
I think.
And again, it's not the actress.
No, it's
the character and the writing of the character. And it's not necessarily even really the writing. It's just this is a bad main character.
It is. We hated her in the book and we hate her now. Like,
yeah.
It honestly, I think that maybe says something for the actual actress and how good she's doing at portraying this girl and her unlikable qualities in these moments where I viscerally do not like her. Like when she's sitting at the table telling her, like, if you just believed more, it's like, you are not the healthy one. It is me.
Ugh.
Like, But so like that, like the one who plays Shasta, right? In the other show, I haven't finished the show, but I know that she's supposed to be like a really hateable character, right?
Oh yeah.
So that, and it goes to show how good she is as an actress, that she's able to.
But at the same time, that character is wonderfully hateable.
It's supposed to be, and she's supposed to be bad. Whereas
like the show wants you to hate her.
Yeah.
This show wants us to like Ilonka.
But can we ever really like a fucking teenager, though? Because they're really annoying sometimes.
I don't know. I like most of the other teenagers in the show.
Do you?
I do.
I like Amesh.
I like Amesh. I like Natsuki. I like weirdo pathological liar.
Oh, I do like her.
Cherie,
Yes, I like Cherie.
Who got like no dialogue this episode.
She does not have enough. I want more of her. Like yeah.
So it's so Ilonka's my least favorite. You can both say Ilonka too. I mean, honestly, I don't even want to talk about this episode more.
I would like to be more detailed about it. I would say Ilonka, when she's like telling people she's the one going home. Like that scene, that's my least favorite scene.
So awful.
Oh, the Catherine scene. That's one of my least favorites too. Because it's just, and then when she turns around to look at her boyfriend and she just has that one tear, that tear is so far down her face that it had to have been working its way down while Ilonka was still screaming at her. How can you stare at this poor girl who's never, like, it's not her fault. She's privileged and doesn't have to deal with this. It's not, you're now angry at her. Like, that's so, and I get it. Like, I get she's dying. She's young. She's hurt. She's angry. Like, she thought she was healthy for some stupid self-absorbed reasons and now she's let down. Like, I do get it, but it's just, it's such a shitty way to react, and I feel so bad for Catherine. That's my least favorite.
Why don't we just give it some ratings and get the fuck out of here?
Sounds good.
So, what
did I give Road to Nowhere?
I don't know, which episode was that. Was that the last one?
Yeah.
3.
What?
Sorry, 2.5.
Oh, are you kidding? Okay.
2.5, which tied with episode 6. Which I don't know.
What was
which
6
episode.
called? Oh shit! Hang on.
I don't know. I don't have
Can
it
we
handy.
change my Road to Nowhere to 2?
Well, you would have to tell the audience that you're doing that.
Audience, I would like to. Oh, Witch was episode 6. I don't even know why I hated that so much, but yes, I would like to change Road to Nowhere to a 2. I've thought about it after my last Screaming episode, and I am updating it from a 2.5 to a 2 because I'm sorry, I just don't. I don't.
Wow.
I'm not a fan of it, and I at least gave it 2. It could be a 1, but I'm like if it didn't have the pre-subject matter and if I weren't so familiar, I would like it more, and I know that, but as it stands, 2. So for this one today, I'm going to give it 2.5. I liked it a tiny bit better because it did not disappoint me so severely, but overall it was not good for me.
How about you, Becca?
Can I give it a 2.25? It's like I love it. I feel like 2 is a little harsh, but 2.5 is a little high for me. Because like this episode, like it had its moments, but it was just kind of blah. You know?
Okay, well, speaking of harsh,
yes, dude.
I'm giving it a 1.
Is this the lowest we've done one or no?
This is my lowest score. Yeah, this is the lowest score any of us have given this show.
Wow.
My previous lowest was 2. But I'm going with 1, and I care so little. It's not even a thing. It's just a Pike. 1 Pike. That's it.
Oh, wait. Hang on. I didn't add. Oh, fuck. My missed opportunities. No, stop. Hang on. I'm going to give it a 2.
You want to add something? Sure.
Yes. I'm going to give it a 2, and then I'm going to add on the 0.5, which is just the hand husk meat of when he peels off his hand.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just flop it down there with a wet smack.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Becca, did you want to add something? Or
honestly, we could just
I have one for you, Becca. I've got one.
Okay, give me.
Okay. She's the 0.25 is the poker that Nancy. Oh, sorry, not Nancy. I always think of her as Nancy. I'm sorry. Yeah, I can't. It's my whole life. She's Nancy. You know?
I get it.
Get it. So she walks in with the poker, and the poker is so fucking ineffectual that it's only worth 0.25. It's just
yes.
Yeah. It's just ugh.
I will accept that rating. Thank you.
It's not even up to the 0.5. But it's better than coming in empty-handed, so it's not down to the 2 either, because there was a moment of expectation and excitement. Yeah,
because how are you going... Nancy did not fight Freddy Krueger to be treated like this.
No! Thank you! When you see her walk in the room with the poker, she is going to beat Freddy down. She's not going to let 2 women, hippies from the forest, hold her arms and restrain her. That makes no sense.
I know that Cassie's seen this already, so this is probably not what happens, but at least I'm looking forward to the possibility that she beats Shasta to death at the beginning of the next episode.
The next episode just opens with her with the poker swinging around like a helicopter going woo, 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 and she just like decapitates everybody in the room.
It gives Heather Langenkamp a badass moment in the
that would
finale.
Honestly, can you how much I would watch that? So if she were like, if they made a new horror movie where she was like a badass final girl, but like at her current age and stuff, like she would be so good. Like that would be amazing.
Like every time they hint that they might want to do another Nightmare on Elm Street with her, it's just like, yes, do it, and do it really soon because Robert Englund is not getting any younger.
Yes, because we need both of them. They would be so, oh man, that would honestly be such, I feel like I would cry like if they did that. Like it would just be like so iconic of like this thing we saw when I was a small young one. Yeah. Oh, so good. Just wanna, anyways, and that would be better than this episode.
Well, yes. I mean... Yeah. Let's do this. Becca, where can they find you online?
Here we go. You can find me on Instagram at Sold by Bex or Read with Bex, where I talk about books. Twitter and TikTok at Sold by Bex. And my sister and I recently opened a shop called Leaping Lily Creations, which you can find on Etsy, and we sell book sleeves, stickers, and soon tote bags. So check that out.
Awesome.
That was hard.
You did great.
Thank you. I tried my best.
And the book sleeves are also very cute. So if you go get one, they will fit. I don't remember, Becca, what size you told me that I had, but they fit my iPad. So I can have like when I do my drawing or my Kindle is on my iPad, like I can put them in the book sleeve that Becca sent me. So
yes,
they're very good.
Like
go get one.
If you order that one and you want to put your iPad, just make sure you do book sleeve and not Kindle sleeve.
Yes. I'm patting my good boy right now.
Well, Cassie, where can we find you online?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at ControlAltCassie. It's CTRLALTCASSIE. I also have an Etsy shop, but I'm switching from promoting that more to promoting my Patreon, which you can subscribe to. And there I'm going to be sharing a lot of stuff that I'm working on right now, such as my next children's horror book and converting my horror novella that I released last year into a graphic novel. So you can follow those along. And the video game that I'm making, which this is the first episode that we've done since I announced that. So I'm working on a video game called Tomebound, and you can follow that on Twitter at twitter.com/Tomebound. And yeah, my Patreon is patreon.com/Let's Get Galactic. Thank you.
Awesome. You can find me at coopersbeckett.com and at coopersbeckett on the social medias. If you'd rather follow me on Mastodon, I'm at Cooper S. Beckett at swingset.social on Mastodon. Because, Twitter is a fucking nightmare right now. But some of us have to be on it because how else are we going to make money? Anyway, Cassie, where can they find our show?
You can find us at the PikeCast on all social media, and we're also on Goodreads. We have a Goodreads group, and we're on Patreon, which you can subscribe to and get early access to our episodes, and you'll get access to our special PikeCast Discord server where we talk about all things Pike and other stuff too. And if you have some book pictures to share, you can share them on social media and tag us at #ShowUsYourPike.
Okay, listeners, so next week is the finale, and I'm sure some of you listeners, at least some of you listeners, are wondering what we're going to do after that. And we are going to be returning to the books. We will let you know more after the finale, but we have one more episode in the Midnight Club, and we're going to send it out in style. So,
sorry, for one quick thing. I think for the next episode, since it is the finale, obviously the show is not continuing. There's public word about that.
Yeah, right.
There is a post that Mike Flanagan shared with his plans for season 2. So I think it would be good if we could discuss that. So if any of our viewers want to make sure they read that post, they go look it up after watching the finale if you haven't already. He shared it on Twitter, and if you just Google, you can probably find it, or we can link it to you on our social media, because that has his plans, and we'll be discussing those after we discuss the last episode, so we can discuss what would have happened if the show had continued.
Yeah. Well, until next time, Pikers, pleasant dreams.
You survived the night, friends. You can peek out from under your covers and see the first blues of dawn out the window. Thanks for spending the night with the PikeCast, and we hope you'll join us again next time. Until then, Pikers, pleasant dreams.
Is somebody unwrapping a present?
No, I'm so sorry. I was flipping the page to my notes.
Totally bored and unwrapped a birthday present just right in the middle.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. Wait, have we really been doing this for only 24 minutes?
Yeah.
I know, it feels like hours, doesn't it?
That's not even, I didn't mean that in a rude way or anything, but I just looked at that and I was like, well, I've been here for at least an hour. What do you mean? Oh, crap. This episode is not my favorite.
No, I can tell.